Hey everyone, my name's Ramon Pereira from LEGO User Group Panama, and we are in the Brick Fest Panama 2018, and we're very happy to show you around what we've got here in this city.
Okay, awesome, and this is quite a large collaborative. How many builders worked on this?
Well, we've got 28 people, 28 families in total, and it's been a collaborative effort, back and forth with all the members.
Okay, yeah. So let's just start at this section in front of us here, and you can take us through.
Yeah, so over here we have the amusement park kind of area. It's a collective effort, a bit of a work in progress, in fact. But we've got, of course, the Lego roller coaster. We've got the alternative Ferris wheel, space Buzz Lightyear themed.
Just like the train track sort of there?
Yeah, it's just something I came up with while trying to take advantage of the existing turning of the gears up above. So I just did so, and it turned out that it works out really well. Mm-hmm. We also have the amusement park, like this, would it be like the town square, if you will, of the amusement park? And kind of trying to, rescue some of the elements that you would see at a Disney sort of park, where you've got the stores on the side, and you've got, your like haunted house, in the corner, and big trees, right? Because it's all themed, based upon, the famous mouse, right? From Florida, in California. So in the back we have the castle, of course, and it's been lit. We had a friend of ours that does all of the lighting, and his approach was to try and do some light painting, on the walls.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean the lighting is pretty amazing. I think John showed the coaster earlier. That's some pretty crazy lighting.
Oh, yeah. Let's just not turn the lights of the venue off. You don't want to you don't want to see it without any other ambient lighting on.
Yeah.
So.
And then I also want to point out this great Mario and Luigi characters there as well.
Yeah, these were built by one of our members. It's more of a decorative, if you will, trying to make it fun. I think you can actually find some of these online, and he just took the ideas and decided to build his own.
Okay.
And so over here, this is really special, actually. I'd like to show you this. This is my Lego store, mouse store, which is actually a mock that I built, from scratch. So, I started off with coming up with ideas for the ears, on the entrance, kind of like what they have in the real world stores. And then once I had that, I kind of just built everything from there, all around that identity, And so we have over here on this left side, we have another modular mock, which is the Unikitty candy store. And this is another custom built that I did back when the Lego movie initially came out and Unikitty was starting off. And so it's all fully furnished on the inside, and just like the Disney, and it has like cakes and candies and all kinds of fun things going on inside.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. So you incorporated that from the Lego movie, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely, and you'll see more elements of it as we continue to, do our tour across the city.
And then the Toy Story train going through here.
Yeah, so the Toy Story train was supposed to be in the park, but, real estate is getting real expensive in this city, so we just had to, place it outside, and we've got some of these little cars, Disney cars elements here as well to go with it. We've got also, the train station with the cranes here. Trains are very important in this city, as a matter of fact. They do go around and into some of the tunnels that we have up front, and you'll see more of that as we continue with our tour. Over here, we've got the Lego Classic Ferris wheel. As you asked earlier, we've got all these lighting elements. We're actually using non-commercial Lego lighting. These are the ones that you would find at a regular electronics store. It's not a Lego like it's specific for Lego,
Gotcha.
you know. And these are very affordable. Not making a commercial, about it, but I'd encourage people to actually try it because you'll find solutions that you don't have to pay a whole lot of money for.
Yeah, you can find those cheaper options sometimes when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to adapt it, And so over here in this section, we have a racetrack that was built by our friend Beckford, which incorporates, a sort of like a loop, right, going around in laps, and some, screen elements here to give it, make it more interactive. Some of the cars, obviously, lots of, brand names all over the place. Basically based off on the Speed Champions line, as a matter of fact.
So you've got the crowd watching there as the race goes on.
Yeah, we have a mixed crowd. As you can see, some of these guys came from the park right across the street. Maybe, they're working, so, still in character, wearing their suits. So they came across and they are watching the race. There's some, trees here to, make it, give it some green elements and make it more green instead of gray. So much gray.
Right. There's a lot of gray base plates on the whole layout.
Yeah, we're just trying to cut through that gray, right?
Yeah.
We have a little townhouse in the back. These were also, spin-offs, if you will, from existing sets that were built by some of our members. And right next door, you'll see we have a car dealership that's opening up soon in town because it's still missing some of the cars inside. But looks like, it's got a little, some of the car lifts on the right side and, some classic hot rod way in the back that was custom built by one of our members. And so over here in this side, let me just show you this one right here. This is something that is very local to our country. This is a police pickup truck. And this is where they would normally pick you up if you'd be like wandering around the streets, late at night and look suspicious. And they would place you in the back, and cuff you up for investigation. So this is a very national police car. You can see a custom, we did a custom logo there, which is a little worn. Kind of what it looks like in real life. So
yeah, it gives that weathered, kind of well-used look.
Absolutely. Over here we have, this is like, it started off from our friend Beckford. He built a car wash, which was initially, that's what it was. And, eventually it's, spun off as a car show / DJ show with all of the fun elements that you would find if you were hanging out, out in the street with cars and, live band playing on stage and waiting area, of course, while your car gets washed and a little gas station in the back for your fuel needs.
It's like a party with cars at it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a some like you would find here in Panama, as a matter of fact, also. So moving on here, we have, this is what it's called, a Diablo rojo, which is what used to be a U.S. School district school bus. They get phased out after a few years, and when they're no longer safe for riding children in the U.S., they are bought by businessmen and brought to Panama to be used as commercial city transportation. Very safe, and you can take Beetlejuice's word for it. He is the secretary for the bus. Right.
I feel like there's something wrong with that picture of the fact that the buses aren't safe for kids in the U.S., but then they're brought to Panama.
Well, yeah. I mean, it really depends on the quality of your driving, who's driving the bus. It's kind of similar to that analogy about, weaponry in general, right? So it's not the weapons, it's the user. So, it's the driver's fault. You have to blame it on the driver if it's not safe enough.
I will say, having, just in the few days we've been in Panama here, seeing these buses drive down the street, the designs on them are crazy. You've got like the red and kind of green there, and there's like crazy paint designs and stuff on them. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so the general color that you would find, it's the red. That's usually in most buses. But depending on the route of the bus, you'll see, either a green or a blue. And we'll probably see a couple of those further down the street when we continue to do our tour. And these are all decorated all over the place with, they put these domes on the roof. You guys can figure it out. I have no idea what they're for, but I just copied them. Yeah. And, they have the little antennas in the front and some hubcaps and luxury wheels to go with it, It's all very special.
The buses in Panama have some real character to them.
Oh, certainly. You'll see a couple more of those as we continue. And so continuing with our tour here, we have what I told you this is the Upscale section of the city. And, this is where the minifigs, the rich minifigs live. They are living the dream, in a San Francisco style hill, if you will. Right, and it has a staircase that takes you up and some really nice trimmed bushes to go with it. You have like the little pizza place in the corner, which is actually spun off from the Spider-Man set, one of the the Pepe's Pizza. Mm-hmm. So it's not. I mean, I'm just using the stickers actually, right. But it works. And right next door, you can see they've got the expensive coffee place there for all of these minifigs with free Wi-Fi and everything.
You got to have your expensive coffee joint.
You have to have it all, man. They're not holding back. They are rich, and they're gonna show. They're gonna show for it. So you can see right next door. It's an unidentified building that I'm not ready to talk about because I'm still not sure what it is. Okay. But it's more of like a filler, if you will. Mm-hmm. And right next to it, you have an 8-stud Unikitty townhouse, right? And as you know, Unikitty has become a very popular character in the Lego world. And so she has to have she has to have her own house.
She's making bank from all the movie and TV show appearances.
Man. She's making money, and she's here to show for it. So, and as you saw earlier in our amusement park, she owns a candy store, right? So she's really not like crazy spending. She's actually, starting her own businesses all over the place. And, at some point, you'll probably see a complete Unikitty universe table. So you'll see that. And right next door we have this white townhouse also. It resembles maybe like an expensive brownstone, one of these houses from metropolitan areas where people who can afford live. And obviously right next we have our ATM machine, because you got to have cash to pay for all of this.
And then I love the road system you built up there as well. So it actually spans the gap in the layout here.
Yeah. So I incorporated some of these road, plates, which are from they're retired already. So you have to actually order them online from used sources. And
Bricklink in places like that.
Yeah, absolutely, in Bricklink. And these came from Europe, as a matter of fact, all the way from Europe to Panama. So I ordered a bunch of these and just kind of built around it so that it looks like the highway is going across the city and onto the other side. Mm-hmm. We have some cars there, and I also incorporated some of those trapezoids from the triangles that are retired as well. And I would recommend this to anyone. If you ever want to make something look like a bridge, get yourself 4 of those, okay, and you're done. As easy as that. And I got those in Bricklink. I think they came from the Czech Republic or something. Got a bunch of those.
All those European sellers, man, they've just got everything.
They've got stashes of things I've never seen in my life. And they always ship in time, so just in time for the Brick Fest in Panama. So just moving along here, we've got what I'd like to call the farmhouse, sort of, and it incorporates elements of pop culture from a certain character that has a Netflix show. But basically, he is a very rich, like farmer, if you will, and is also into he's also into the logistics business, right? And he likes
Very important part of the business.
oh yeah, I think that's the main part of the business, as a matter of fact. So he grows his own vegetables and ships them out to foreign countries, and that's how he's able to afford, having like big turkey for dinner every night. That's the boss right there. You can't mess with the boss. And he also owns, some beautiful, fancy ponies. These are ponies. These aren't horses. In case you guys were wondering, these are fancy ponies, and the horse is the one that's actually working on this mill, this a very, manual mill, where you actually, like, if you were to go in a Panamanian farm, you'd see how, like, they use it for, milling, like, sugar cane. You stick it onto one side, the horse goes, around, and then it comes out flat the other side, and you get to pick up all the good, sugar cane juice.
It works well.
It does. I mean, as far as I've seen, I don't think you can find many of those anymore.
And then surrounding that, we've actually got another construction area.
Right. So we have this construction area where they're actually live building right in front of your eyes the Lego pet shop modular right there in front of your eyes. And so what happened, like I said, real estate is getting real tough here in the city. And we also have a ski resort right behind it where it's actually custom built, and it may be growing in the future, hopefully, to have its own place, and you have some of the elements from the Arctic series of Lego. Oh, and before I forget, also the farmer here, you can see the chicken in the back. He also has some chicken and some banana trees. We've got monkeys, and he has like his own water turbine, right? So he produces his own energy because he's a very smart farmer. Stays off the grid, and
also very important.
Also very important. And in this section here, we have a little store where they get to sell all of their produce, fresh produce from the farm, like strawberry, jam, or anything that's delicious and homemade that you would find in a farm like this.
Very good.
So moving along in our city tour, we have the airport. Every city has to have an airport, and this one is built by one of our members, Domingo, and he actually specializes in collecting and building anything that has to do with planes and aerospace. We'll do a stop through his area later where he's got some interesting things going on that you'll be able to see. But basically, this is the city airport. We've got some what looks like maybe some cornfields, or if you will, decorating and kind of cutting through that gray so that it looks like it's separate from the city, doesn't get blended with the city roads. We have the airport building here, some classic, I think they're classic, right? I mean, they're from, I think, late 80s, early 90s. I mean, these can be considered classic. Airplanes from the Legoland and Lego, very first Lego City planes. And this is, like a field there with the planes,
yeah,
right?
Kind of cargo planes and stuff, mail carriers and stuff.
Yeah. And some custom-built Brick Fest letters in the back, of course, by one of our members. So everybody contributes in the city, you know. Over here we have what is like a bridge, right, for the railroad system. It goes. The idea is because it goes right on top of the water, right? So it has to be like a bridge, so the train can get across. This is what we're trying to portray here. What would be like a mini Panama Canal, if you will. It goes across, from one side of the city to the other, and you can see, the bridge above and some of these container ships crossing underneath. We also have another Diablo right there that you can you can see. I think that one's missing a spear in the front. But they're decorative spears. They're not real spears.
That's more towards like the Mad Max.
Yeah, these guys, they're not armed. I mean, they're only for fashion and show. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we should mention, this show takes place just a few minutes away from the Panama Canal here, so very appropriate to have this going through the display.
Absolutely. I mean, the Panama Canal it's part of our identity, and it's infused in DNA. We're all very much used to seeing it and talking about it on a daily basis. So, we get a lot of kids, and, in this show, and we thought, it was only appropriate to have this kind of content to show the kids how their canal sort of works in a highly accurate way.
Yeah, but it represents it and everybody knows it. And I do love the inclusion of the Maersk ships here. When we visited the actual canal, there was actually a Maersk ship going through, so that's very appropriate for it.
It's not like I was going through your Facebook looking at the pictures, right? We're not stalking you, I swear. So after the canal section, we have this mountain, which has taken multiple shapes throughout the years. It is, part of the bridge that connects, across the canal. It's all, I would say 90% of it is built on 2x4s, green 2x4s. Okay. It was part of some of the Lego support package that we got, a couple years ago. And so when we first got those green 2x4s, we were trying to figure out what to do with them. And so people started actually trading their share because they weren't interested in having those. So, as I started packing more and more of these, then I just came up with that idea, And, you have to have a train tunnel. If you have a mountain or something, you have to have a train tunnel going inside and coming out through the other side, of course. And we have a little representation here of the Panama flag, of course, with a little lake. There's lots of Easter eggs going on in the city. The more you stop and look at it, like if you stand maybe here in front of the mountain, there's an actual cave right by the waterfall. Which we can maybe incorporate more, some lighting elements down the road, but it's all work in progress. But I think it's really cool, especially if you're thinking about doing like maybe a contest or a rally to have children go and try and find hidden things in the city. It works really well, having these cavities and such.
And the double layer waterfall is really nice as well. It kind of creates that higher sort of 3D effect there, and I think that looks great. It gives more detail to look at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of it wasn't really highly intentional. I just kind of went by with the bricks that I had, but I just tried to give it that ripple effect, of the water when it's dropping down, and just get that 3D, which really does create a wow effect when you have these big, lots of tables with lots of things going on. You have to make it pop so that people, you have to use the principles of photography, basically, to have the eye anchor onto something and, be catchy.
And then in front of that, we've got this other mountain here. We've got some intrepid explorers going up there. I love the clouds going around the top.
All right, so I'll tell you the story behind this. It actually started off with the Lego Volcano line that they have for Lego City. And this, the top part, as a matter of fact, is part of it. I went to a friend's house. We talked about it. We talked about, building a volcano project. And so that's how it started. Then I saw this guy's video on YouTube that does a lot of city building. And I took, some of his ideas using burps and merps to, quickly build up and smoothen them out with some of those cheese loaves.
Yeah.
And so it's all hollow on the inside, and there's actual room to fit in a fog machine. But, as you guys know, this is a children's and family event, and it's probably not safe enough to have that kind of, a hot element going inside a plastic flammable volcano.
We don't want any disasters happening here.
It could probably turn into like a real life volcano. Like, it's too real, it's too real. So it's not, it's not too tall. So, I just thought of creative ways that we could make it look taller, right? And so while thinking about that, I came up with the little clouds ideas, So, because it tells the brain basically that it is tall, even though it's not, right?
Yeah.
We have a little campfire going downstairs here at the beach with a SOS sign. They're waiting to be rescued, and they will, maybe tomorrow before the show ends.
Somebody will find them.
Somebody will probably rescue them and put them in their plastic bin and take them home.
And then actually down below we have a second level here.
Oh yeah, we should probably go. Do you guys want to take a peek here of what we've got here? It is a underwater scene inspired by the great Jang Bricks, the works of the great Jang Bricks here. So we incorporated the screen in the background so that anything that's up at the front, it just pops. Give it some lighting. We have some hidden, LED lights underneath the table. We have lots and lots of things going on here with the twins of the Little Mermaid for some reason. They're twins. And some of the Atlantis line, underwater things.
All those different cool underwater themes that Lego has produced over the years.
Yeah, and it's really cool because, normally when you have a show, you don't have anywhere to put them because, there's no underwater.
Right.
So this is a really, really cool idea, and we're very, very proud and happy to have borrowed it and incorporated it into our city here.
Great. Well, I'm sure Jang will be happy to know he's inspired other builders with his city layout.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, it's all lined up directly underneath the sea or the beach that we have here. So I think it suits it well, We could probably do some expansion of the volcano at some point and, have some lava underneath.
There's some seismic activity happening under the water there.
Yeah, being too creative here, but it's all doable. And so over here we have more recreational areas of this city. The minifigs in this city are probably the happiest people ever. They've got, basketball court that was built by our friend Moises, member of our group. And then so we created this beach terrain that incorporates, all of these bodybuilders or something. And also we have a lifeguard here, which is Mickey Mouse. I don't know if that's, how safe that would be,
Well, if someone's actually in trouble, I'm not sure if you want the lifeguard to be in costume.
Yeah. There's no way you can swim. It'd probably sink right away. And then so we have a really nice pool in the back with, some, of course, minifigs, having a great time here at the skate park.
Right.
So I used to be a lot into BMX. And so I decided to, build my own skate park since I couldn't have one in real life. So we've got all of these stereotypical minifigs like Bart Simpson doing stunts and, You've got Robin doing a toothpick grind over the box. That's very technical. And some of the Ninja Turtles, of course. And then, so we brought in some of the photographers of the Lego world, like the Beast guy with his, L-type lens, taking a photo of that, rail grind of the Ninja Turtles going down down the rail.
Usually it's the photographers looking for the Beast Man there.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a fantasy city, so the roles are all inverted here.
There you go.
It's all backwards. And so taking advantage of the fact that we do have a beach and the shoreline here in this area, we try to recreate our friend Juan, who does a lot of the space theme, try to recreate some of the what you would see at Cape Canaveral, if you will, which is right by the sea. Well, we didn't copy them; they copied us, of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, we were the first ones to do this, and you can see all the space shuttles and different space-themed NASA and SpaceX. So that's
Right.
that's pretty contemporary. Actually, taking off with some of that thrusting effect.
Yeah, I love the yellow and red and kind of the fire coming out of the engines there.
I'm really glad you didn't say popcorn. But, it's sort of along those lines to try and give it some motion, and make it look like it's taking off. So in this area over here, we try to build kind of like the docks, of the city, where you have like some boats and some of the, that you would normally find in, by like a city, docks, right? Like you got the fish store, of course, the official Lego set right here, and some custom built area where you can eat fish and drink soda, of course. And looks like Thor is laying down on the floor for some reason. It might have had some of that strong Sprite,
Right. A bit too much.
a bit too much. But, he is the man, so he can handle it. Somehow we ended up with a band playing live at the docks with no public, but...
The important thing is that they're enjoying themselves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like a 80s themed metal band, if you will. Maybe there's no metal band club in town, so maybe we need to build one for them. So continuing here, this is a sushi bar which I built. It's the second version of it. It started off with some Ninjago themed, but then eventually just took a life of its own and became a modular. It's all furnished on the inside. If I take off one of the lids, it'll probably come apart. So
We'll just admire it from the outside.
oh, yeah, let's keep it at that for now. And of course, we have docks, we have fishermen. So obviously, the sushi is the logical choice for.
Very fresh.
Yeah, very fresh sushi right there. So over here, so as I, when we were on the other side, we were looking at the canal, and this is the other end of the canal. So it goes from one end of the city to the other, and so if you can manage to get underneath that bridge right there, you'll make it across.
Good luck with that. It's great. You figure.
Maybe we need to build some, underneath tunnels,
Yeah.
like Jang has, like underneath, like those space miners or whatever
Right.
underneath, and maybe we can get across and make it to the other side.
You'll figure something out.
Oh, we will for sure.
Down here we have, I like to call this the American Embassy whenever we travel outside the country.
Yeah, well, in fact, it is. And children love it. So, and I grew up with it. I think we've all grown up with it, and it's something that I wouldn't be forgiven if I didn't have in this city, right? So this is custom built 100% out of my design, and start off with some LDD, Lego digital designer, print blueprints, and then of course you have to take it up into the real world where you don't where you can't find all the bricks that you need. But it's all very much loyal to the what you would find in a real American embassy. We added some lighting elements, and these are actually the commercial type, which are the real little tiny ones that fit. You can sandwich
between plates and stuff.
Right, and so it takes up. It has two modes, right? And so this mode is where you can place it back to back with other buildings when there's not much space available. But when there's plenty of space, I do have like a little roof and a little sign that goes with it, and you can actually do a block and turn it into a drive-through.
Okay.
So it's a very flexible build.
And then behind that, you've got some great lighting added into some of these buildings.
Oh yeah, and so Beckford is our lighting specialist, and he goes above and beyond to make sure that we have affordable lighting in this city for just about everything. So as you can see, it's all very well designed and put together. How he tried to capture what you would find at a diner, or even the cinema in the corner, right? It all goes right in between, the seams of the tables, and it's actually plugged into the power source down on the ground.
Wow.
It's no batteries, man. It's all really, real electricity, like a real house.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. So continuing through our tour here, we have another Diablo, and this is like I would think this is like this one represents the Diablos the most, because I actually took the time to, make some decals for it. Well, I didn't. It was my wife. I'll get in trouble if I don't say that.
Proper credit.
Yeah, let's make sure that's on record. And so what they do is they have all of these proverbs and just about all kinds of funny themes going around. Like this one says like limited edition, on the front. And so you have a driver right there, and the driver seems very happy right now. He's living the life in this city,
I love how the wheels and tires are set at different heights there.
You know what? I'm actually very impressed that you noticed that. That's actually intentional.
Okay.
What they do is they lower the rear axle and so it has to look higher on the front. And this is, if you go around all of the Diablos that I have, you'll see that. It's very consistent. If you go out on the street right now and you find one, that's a staple. Yeah, I mean, it has to have it. I mean, I don't think they can circulate in the city if they don't do that.
Okay.
But, it's for safety purposes.
Obviously.
Safety first, guys. And then so, it has all the decorations, the domes that you would expect on the roof. And we have like a little picture of a celebrity in the back. And so this one has some wording here that says, this is the good type of envy. I don't know if there's any, or if you would be envious of the driver, because he has a bus, but that's kind of the stuff that you would find out on the street. And they like their antennas too. You always have to make sure you have to have the antennas, you have to have the chains, the bling. And this is real bling right here from Ninjago. And another very important item that always has to be in the Diablos is the secretary. Secretary makes sure that the money is collected.
Okay.
Secretary makes sure that we can fit as many people as possible in this bus, both sitting and standing.
I'm sure they're always careful not to overpack it, safety first.
Not ever. I mean, you'll never see people like sticking out of the door, ever. Or maybe coming out through the emergency exit, of course, because it always it's welded on. for safety purpose. You don't want to see it come off, in the middle of an accident or
Right.
something. So it needs to be heavily welded on. You know.
I love this. I can tell how proud you are of these buses. I think that's fantastic. It's such an iconic part of Panama.
I love these. I mean, they're so colorful. At some point, I've had all kinds of unfinished projects with them. At some point, I thought about maybe adding a motor and some, steering, but you just can't fit it in there. It's too small, But I think next we're going to do some lighting. We definitely do need some lighting because that's how it goes in real life. If you drive by one at night, they have some like really flashy and fancy lights, Well, I mean, that's it for the Diablos. We could talk all day about them, so they're not paying for my time, so. So continuing here on this street right here, you'll see a pink building. That is actually a grocery store that was built by our friend Moses, and it has, it's like a Lego Friends theme in the city, and somehow it has Lego Friends figures. I guess they're a different race or something, alien race from the regular minifigs.
Okay.
In this corner, we have my take on the Daily Bugle. This is like my second version of it, and it's also a custom build. I tried to incorporate the lions because I had some of those, and I think they look really cool when you stack them up with the columns, so that it has like decorated bricks.
Almost like a gargoyle type of thing.
Yeah, sort of like that Gothic look, right? But this one right here is backwards, so either way. We have Spider-Man here, with his iconic upside down whatever hanging off of the building while the, what's his name, is taking a picture of it. And, they have their own like security guard or bellboy, whatever, he might be. And this one's not furnished on the inside. That's something that I'll probably do in the future, or maybe just rebuild it. In the back, we have an ice cream store. And so, because this is part of I started doing a bunch of like corner modular buildings because, as you know, Lego doesn't have that. And when you're doing a big layout, you have to have corners, lots of them. Mm-hmm. So it was, it has some elements from some of the Lego movie ice cream truck stuff. And so it also has a drive-through, so it's very convenient.
I don't think I've ever seen a building based off of the Lego movie ice cream truck design.
If you look at the little roof thingies, right, on the sides, those are like from the truck.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, so continuing our tour here, we have, this is a lab. This is a lab which was built by our friend Moises from the team. And it's custom built. It basically represents maybe some of the scientists trying different things out, okay. Experiments, or maybe creating new medicines, or drugs for people, for the minifigs.
You got the hazmat guy coming in on the helicopter there.
Oh yeah, because there was a spill on the inside, so it needs to be cleaned up. We'll get everybody evacuated soon enough. You got all the doctors here. Now, this right here, this is very special as well. This is a very Panamanian national thing that you'd find out on the street. This guy sells shaved ice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've noticed some of those like snow cone carts walking around the city. Yeah, and that even looks like your sig fig there, like the backwards hat and the red shirt.
It has to have, all the elements, and you can see the block of ice there. He's got all the flavorings, and it always gets topped with condensed milk at the top. And, if you don't like condensed milk, they have other options like like sugarcane syrup or whatever,
But it's all very sweet. That's the important.
It has to be sweet. The children love it.
Yeah.
I love
it. And adults.
I love it. We should go get some of those.
We should. I think we'll schedule a run for that later.
So right next to it, we have in front of it we have We call it a chichero, which is you know a guy that sells pastries and some natural orange, very natural and safe orange juice. Very nutritious, and they usually goes around the city and stops at construction sites where he feeds the construction workers for a very affordable price.
Okay.
So this is a representation of what you would find in Panama.
You'd see those at kind of work sites in places like that.
Oh yeah. So what they would do is that they cook. They either buy or cook the pastries. They make their own orange juice, and then they just sweat their way to the nearest construction site.
Gotcha.
And so right next to it, we have a custom-built Scooby-doo mansion. Started off when the Scooby-Doo line came out, and I thought it was so cool, because I grew up watching the show, and they had these, they had like this mansion and this castle-looking set, and I thought, I'm very much into the Lego modular line or the creator line, and I decided to make my own take on it and just made it look as weathered as possible. And it's fully furnished on the inside. There's a kitchen, of course. You have to have a kitchen if it's Scooby-Doo. It has 2 stories, and it has an attic. And I'd like to show you the attic because we have something real interesting going on in there. There is the grandpa. It's sitting here, and it's a rocking chair. And I used to have a little figure of a mailman that was like coming up to deliver like a piece of mail, and this guy was just sitting here, so creepy. And he, this is the attic, so this is where he does most of his, workshop and woodworking, and he has lots of tools here for the trade.
Some of those tools look a little unorthodox.
Well, they're very sharp, so I'd suggest you stay away from them. Let me just put the lid back on this one. But this is kind of what I do with most of my buildings. I try and do parodies of, what the real deal is. And so right here, and because this is like a multi, it's like a mansion, right? So it has its own garage right here, 2 stories with a guest house, and the iconic mystery machine that came with the set, of course. And right next to it, we have the greenhouse with some of those Halloween-looking pumpkins, of course. It's all real creepy. And we've got the characters over here. Shaggy running away with some hot dog. And somehow we've got also ghosts and some long-haired gentlemen that seem to be from the time when Scooby-Doo was being filmed. Right.
Fit in nicely with the scene.
Absolutely. They are free spirits, In the back, we have some of the retired, modular hotel, if you all remember it. I think it's called the Cafe Corner. We always have it at the Brick Fest. It's kind of a tradition here. And also over here on this side, we have a chapel. It's like a chapel. It's not really like a church or anything. It's more like a small chapel. And it's like the second version of it. There's some nice green areas going around it where the minifigs can have some recreational activities and, stay away from any negative things, It's a very, very cool place to be and hang out at. And then over here we have the Padre, right, of course, who is the pastor for the church, and he's greeting, the church-going lady and her husband that are, arriving for service. I did some stained glass, or I tried to do some stained glass work on this. With cheese loaves, and they're all packed together in a sort of like a frame. They're really not snapped on or clutched on. They're just basically, snap. It's like a real stained glass.
Yeah, no, that's the way to achieve that effect. Is you just kind of pack those in and get the nice mix of colors.
Yeah, and so in order to enhance the effect, as a matter of fact, so I added some lighting in on the inside, so you could see the stained glass really coming to life. Because if you don't have the lights, you're not going to appreciate it, of course. We also have that character over there on the roof. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe trying to sabotage the good people of our city, right? From going to a good service, We also have some bus stops here, which are very futuristic looking, and some of the housing area here with some little creator houses. This one's based on the changing seasons model, and I just kind of turned it into a house, I tried to incorporate the sidewalks, but it doesn't look like everyone's much into it. So
there's a lot of individual paths.
Oh yeah, it's a very everybody's very creative with their own their own sets. So no sidewalks. In the back, we also have a very special. What would be sort of like a subway station, if you will, right? So where you have the buildings at the top, and you have the underground station where you can hop on your train, and then you have the food places. We have a coffee shop, and where you buy the tickets, and some interesting characters down there also.
Yeah, I love that. The underground level like that with the added lights just adds such a nice effect rather than just kind of setting the modular buildings on top there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is, the moment you get those modular buildings on top, it gets real dark, and it could be, you as a builder sabotaging yourself, building something that, people won't appreciate. So continuing on, as you guys can see, we have the highway that we're talking about from the other side. It connects both sides across the, what would be the human canal, where we actually go in there and do servicing on our builds. Yeah. And we have some cars there crossing, and that trapezoid I told you about. Again, I recommend it very much if you can find those. They're pretty amazing. Over here we have a hospital, which was also built by our friend Moises, who is the same one that built the lab, and it's very much what you would find in a local, like, small clinic, if you will. It's not a big hospital per se, and you can see all the different scenes that you in every floor. You can see the doctors with the patients, and this guy that got looks like he got ran over by some Diablo at some point. So, and some people that seem to need some medical attention going on. Now, this is a very inclusive city, and we always make sure we have ramps for our friends with disabilities. And we also have some lighting incorporated in this one, and this is the affordable type. It's not non-commercial solutions.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta be able to save your money so you can buy more Lego.
Absolutely, you need that money. Save it. Maybe if you save enough, you'll be able to live in that high-end district we have over there.
One can dream.
Yeah, you could be. Maybe you could be the next Unikitty. On this side, we have another local representation, which is the Pio. It is a small chain of chicken, fried chicken. I think that's the main. And you can find all kinds of chicken parts, non-traditional type, and they're all fried, so it's real healthy.
No part of the chicken is wasted.
None of it. You can find so chicken neck and some of the insides, and I mean, if you lived here, you'd be having a meal at Pio right now.
There you go.
And then you'd probably obviously go and hop on a Diablo and go home.
It's the complete Panamanian package.
Connected, it's all connected. Over here we have sort of like a spin-off of what the deli set was, the corner deli, sandwich shop with the apartment on top. As you can see, this is actually a corner building. We built so many corner buildings that it got to a point where we don't know what to do with them anymore. We needed them before, and now we just have too many.
So now there's just like a sketchy alley that goes down beside the building there.
Oh yeah, it's you can go around the block, so it kind of adds some value to the property there, There's the gas station, of course, some of the standard Lego modular buildings that you can get at the store. There's a pizzeria over there with a bike shop, and some that was built by our friend Guillermo, who does all of our trains, and he's awesome. And as we continue our journey into this delicious gluten-free heaven of bricks, you can see we have our own custom-built fried bricks place, right, from the Colonel bricks, right? So I custom built this because, if we already have the U.S. Embassy, we have to have the, whatever military base or something. It's all
goes hand in hand.
It's all over the place, it's a chicken army, so. This one's right here is built on the existing Doctor Strange set that came out recently, the Sanctum Sanctorum. I just turned it into a modular building, added some bricks of my own, and kind of built a scene right here underneath with Doctor Strange and some of his, enemies here fighting, and his friends helping him out. This was really cool. I came up with this effect for the little ring of teleportation, whatever it's called.
You move interdimensional ring, or however they move around.
Well, it's really cool because right now he's here. You might find him somewhere at the beach within the next few minutes. He'll just teleport, or maybe we have two of those, and we don't know. We have some, train stations, like we have all over the place. And, of course, you always have to have a Lego store at the city. And this is my own personal build. Started off with doing some of what you would find in a real modern Lego store. Because I've seen a lot of Lego stores online. I decided to do the modern take on it. And, have the pick-a-brick wall like, they all have. The cashier and everything is very, very loyal to what you would find in a real Lego store. We added some lighting, and